Nolagent here in Helen, Georgia. Good times in here, yeah ha ha!
Welcome to Nolagent. Let the good times roll. In this episode of our USA travel vlog, we visit Helen, Georgia and the Southern Appalachian Mountains, which has become famous for hosting the largest number of days each year celebrating Oktoberfest, which in Helen lasts for nearly 2 months each year. In 2022, Helen hosts their 52nd year of German American Oktoberfest celebrations, which will run from September 8th through October 30th. Munich, Germany obviously has the longest running Oktoberfest celebration in years, while they only celebrate for 16 to 18 days each year. Helen, Georgia is nestled among the Blue Ridge Mountains and the Chattahoochee River, and started out as a logging town which was incorporated in 1913, which eventually found itself in decline. So Helen decided to redefine itself in the late 1960s by becoming a replica of a Bavarian Alpine town in the Appalachians instead of the Alps. Now here we are driving towards Helen from the Atlanta side, and you can see there's some beautiful scenery on the way in. The leaves are just beginning to change to their autumn colors, and I do apologize for all of the bugs smacks on my windshield. I scrubbed it and squeegeed it before I came up into this route. However, there were still plenty of bugs that splattered on the window that caused a less than perfect view, but for the most part you can see everything you need to see. So there's a whole wide variety of all kinds of interesting things that you see on your way in, and I saw a whole lot of different antique shops, restaurants, and wineries, and all manner of other types of stores I wanted to stop at and visit on my way in from this direction. And I really thought there was a whole lot more things to do out here than I came close to expecting. So even before you get into the Helen city limits, there's plenty of really interesting things to see and do. On my drive in, I saw various genres of food on offer, including Southern food, soul food, barbecue, and even Mexican food. Along with, in Helen itself, plenty of German options, but also plenty of other food that's not German food for those that like other things. And there were plenty of adult beverage offerings. We had a vineyard that had wine tastings and wine for sale. There was a coffee roaster that also sold mead and various other types of adult beverages. So there were just so many interesting things to eat and drink and do and see. And now here we are right now, coming right under the city limits of Helen. So here's where the interesting part starts. It suddenly starts to transform into a little Disney-ish version of a Bavarian village. So it's not quite like a Bavarian village, but it looks like one from a distance when you're driving through in many ways. I was really surprised on my first arrival to Helen, as this is my first visit. Somehow I've missed this location throughout my life. I've been to many other places in Georgia, but not here. Many other places in these mountains, but not here. I kind of think of this place as like a Gatlinburg, Tennessee light. A little bit smaller, a little bit more compact, not as crowded. Yet still very similar to Gatlinburg, Tennessee, in that their strip is still where the majority of everything is located here in Helen. And it goes back maybe a few streets on each side in some areas, but in a lot of the town, there's nothing behind the little buildings on the strip here. But they've managed to pack in a whole lot of stuff into this compact area, so don't be dismayed that there isn't enough stuff to do here, as there is way more stuff than I thought there was initially. Once you start walking around this area, you see there are a whole lot of different stores, restaurants, bars, and all kinds of different things throughout this entire area that extends a lot further out than you would think. So don't get worried that there's only a few little places here. There's a lot more to see than what you can see from the street here. You really have to experience this town from the walking level. Now, there are some limitations for people if you have mobility issues and you're not able to walk and you need some kind of an assisted device like a wheelchair. There are some places where it's not going to really be accessible with a wheelchair or other device like that. Okay, we've reached the end of Helen here at the Hofbrauer House Hotel and Restaurant. Now we've turned around and we're going back where we came from, so you can see it from a different angle and a different speed. So after we go through this other tour through the strip again from this different direction, we're going to get into some more specifics and do a little bit more of a slower tour to show you some more specific locations in town. So you can see that it's beautiful in both directions, however it's certainly a different drive and a different look in each direction. So as we are here going from the Chattanooga side, as I would call it, because I drove in from the Atlanta side and then I drove out from the Chattanooga because I went to Chattanooga after I came to Helen here. So that was quite an adventure. So here we are coming up to the city limits of Helen, and now here we are at the Hofbrauhaus restaurant. So this was a great place to eat. I really enjoyed that. There's Betty's Country Store right here, which was also a fantastic place I enjoyed a lot. Hoffer's Bakery and Cafe was where I stood in line the longest time to eat. And of course, Helen has their Alpine Helen Oktoberfest celebration going on now. And they also had some nice regular October decorations and celebration going on as well. Now here we have the Heidi Motel, which has that little windmill looking area. Then we had a warning to keep off the waterfall and grounds of the Alana waterfall, which I'm not sure if it's a natural or man-made waterfall. Right next to the waterfall is this beautiful gazebo that seemed to get pretty popular in the day and when it lit up at night. They also have a little train here you can ride through town, and there's a biker bar right next to it, and hey, my buddy Bigfoot hangs out here as well. And so here's the back side of the train there, so I did see that go through town quite a few times. Santa Claus actually happens to live in Helen, Georgia too, I never knew that. And his sleigh is there and getting prepared and loaded up for Christmas, and I hear they have a great Christmas celebration here too. Wait, my friend Bigfoot's here again! He gets around. Whoa! Now he's got a little Imas beer he's drinking here.
I found my pal Bigfoot. Looks like he's having a good time. Let's go join him.
So you certainly have no shortage of places in Helen to hoist an Imas or other beer if you like it. And as you can see here, it's a really wonderful area. They've got good crosswalks to go back and forth in the street areas. And it's a maze of buildings. There's so many things behind the buildings that you can see from the street side. So you really need to explore and walk around. They have some wonderful covered beer garden areas like this one, along with plenty of other fantastic spots. Helen's also a sister city to Füssen in Bavaria. There are some nice spots here along the Chattahoochee River where you can grab a bite to eat and a beer or other beverage of your choice to enjoy the beautiful view. So here we're going to go from the street level here under the bridge and take a look so you can see what's going on, because in some of the areas it's literally a double level of the river level and then you go up to the street level. So that makes for an interesting time here. So you see we have the Troll Tavern right here on our left, and then we have the little passageway to the other side under the bridge here. And pay attention, they put locks on the bridges here like they do in some other places in Europe. And as we look over the Chattahoochee River Bridge right here going across it, we then can see the river itself from another angle. That's actually a Mexican restaurant there on the other side. And here we are on that side of the river still, and you see they have a nice little amphitheater performance area, and you can see all these businesses that go back into this area. So here we are, there's all these buildings here, but they hold so many other businesses as you walk behind them. So there's really so many more places to see besides what you can see from the street level. It really would take you quite a while to go through all of the different stores and restaurants and other venues throughout this area. I don't think you could do it in 1 week even. There's a lot of places. Here's the Bodensee restaurant that I really enjoyed myself at. And here we have kind of the epicenter. This is the Fest Hall, which is the Chamber of Commerce of Helen, Georgia. And they put on a whole lot of festivities here, and they kind of consider themselves to be the headquarters of the whole Oktoberfest celebration here. So you can see they've got quite a little festive decoration theme going on the outside, and all these places that we've shown you in this video, we're going to be having specific videos for, so stay tuned for that. And also, we're going to be driving out now, going towards Chattanooga. So you can see a little of the scenic driving, heading out of Helen, Georgia towards the Chattanooga way. This was a much slower drive, much more scenic, and there are parts of the Appalachian Trail that go through here. There are plenty of waterfalls to see, there are Indian mounds, and there are a lot of historic things to see and beautiful things to see. Wonderful sights to behold, and certainly as the leaves begin to change this time of the year, you can get some pretty dramatic scenery, and it certainly is a beautiful drive by every route imaginable. This one's a little more scenic though on the way to Chattanooga, and it took me a really long time compared to the drive from Atlanta to Helen. The drive from Helen to Chattanooga was way slower and a lot of country back roads. Now you did have to go through a lot of up and down of the mountains, and you did get to see a lot more of the scenic route from that though as well. And just to share some of the scenery here, here's some of the beautiful views you can get of the mountains here. And the leaves were just beginning to change. I think they would have been far better in just a few weeks. And here you can look off into the distance, and then we have another view of another area here where you can just see the trees just beginning to get into their fall foliage and a lot of that beauty popping out. Here we are with another view with just some more developed areas. So, thanks so much to everybody in Helen, Georgia for a fantastic Oktoberfest first experience for me. And thanks so much to all of you out there for tuning into the Diligent channel, especially to my Patreons. If you would so kindly go ahead and share this video with anybody that would enjoy it that you know, because it really would help me with the YouTube algorithm. And make sure to tune in next time for more good food, good times, and good people. Diligent here, and thanks so much for watching, and just go ahead and destroy this video right here to keep up with the fun.